because without that, all the good things that you want to do are going to fail. And so as your business grows and you make decisions about individual people, you can't let your emotion get in the way of what you really need to do, which is to drive success of the business. And so the minute you get your first customer, you now become number 2. The minute you get your first investor, now you're number 3. The minute you hire your second employee, you're number 4. It's still your business, but now you know who you have to serve. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs that fail don't understand that you're always serving someone. A shareholder, a customer, the business. And if you lose sight of that by letting your emotions get in the way, and this often happens, certainly happened to me in early days, many people hire their friends. They start a company with their friend or with their brother.
Good way to end a friendship.
Or it's a family business. And very often, nepotism is what kills the golden goose. Because very often the better manager is not your sister, brother, uncle, cousin, whatever. And I live through this all the time in the companies that I'm an investor in. I have 32 portfolio companies now. I watch this happen every day. And I don't let emotion get in the way of the true pursuit of what matters, the success of the business. The moment you realize that that person isn't right for the job is the time to take them out of it. Because it's not fair to them. It's not about you. It's not fair to them and the people they're working with and the team that they're part of. The biggest challenge, and I generally find this at sort of the $10 million sales rule, many people have to change in going from 10 to 25 million in sales. It's the natural Darwinian forces of business. And if you don't have the balls to make those cuts and you can't deal with it, you're the wrong leader. The backbone of success of our country and capitalism, and the most noble thing you can do in your life, in my opinion, is to start a business and create a job. There is nothing more noble than that. But when you take on that journey, you also, after you hire your first employee and have your first customer and your first shareholder, you have a responsibility of sustainability of the business. Because you're now servicing customers, you have employees that you're responsible to maintain their jobs, their standard of living, their ability to have a family comes from you. Now, when you introduce a new mission, because the primary mission of a business is to take care of its customers, its employees, and its shareholders. That is the DNA of business. When all of a sudden you introduce a new cause, and let's just make it generic, we're going to save the world, whatever that means to somebody. You cause a mutation in the DNA of the business. Now you could say, going to the Darwinian theory, that mutations create success, that you morph into something that's very successful. And there are analogies in business across multiple sectors, shoe companies, other companies that bring a cause into the model. And it's very successful because it's a connection to the customer in a way that's unique. If you can sustain that, you have brought it into the marketing aspect of what you are to your customer. And you've built it into your income statement, and it allows you to remain competitive and raise capital against your competitors, and you found a way to do something that they didn't do. That model, I appreciate, understand, and believe is a wonderful idea, because it's clearly the Ben and Jerry model. They cared a lot about their community. But when Ben and Jerry wanted to grow and become a behemoth in the ice cream business, they ran into the ultimate problem of scalability of this. And they don't own it anymore because it was bought by someone who said, well, there's a cost of capital to making ice cream, the cost of protein, the cost of distribution. My question to everybody that pursues this is it sustainable enough that you can create a competitive entity that goes beyond your vision? It has to be something that creates a service or good in perpetuity for all of your customers. And what I find very often is people BS themselves. They say to themselves, I'm going to game the system. I'm going to tell everybody that if they buy a pair of socks from me, I'll give a pair to charity. I'll get lots of free press. The buyers at Walmart will want to see me because I'm doing something good. and I'll actually stay in business even though my costs are twice as high as my competitors. I have a problem with it because it's bullshit. It's not sustainable. It doesn't work. Those companies are still calling me up saying I need to raise more money. But don't worry, profitability is right around the corner. No, it isn't. It isn't. The thing to understand about business and society is this. Last year, and part of it comes from right here in Seattle, was the largest amount of capital given back by entrepreneurs in the history of the planet Earth. From the profits of their successes of their companies. After the company had paid it back to the shareholders, they turned around and gave it all back. They didn't break the DNA of their business to do that. They created massive successes in Amazon, in Microsoft, in Google, in Facebook. And then they took the profits and paid it forward. Business is war. There are competitors, winners and losers. It's binary. You either make money or you lose it. You need to understand that as an entrepreneur. You have to embrace what that means to you and understand what it means to society. Your job is to make that business successful. It's to steal market share from your competitors. It's to salt the earth they used to walk on. It's to make sure you put them out of business and you achieve success. Then, and only then, after you have got all of those profits as being a successful business model, you give it back and you pay it forward. That is the model. That's how it works, and that's never going to change.